What is going on, Notre Dame fans? Mike Singer from blueandgold.com talking about a new commitment for the Fighting Irish, four-star tight end Jack Larsen out of Charlotte Catholic in the 2024 class, a rising junior prospect. And to break it down, we have blue and gold football analyst Tim Hyde. So, Tim, talk about a lot in this video, but just to start, when you watch him on film, when you've watched various workout footage of him, what's your reaction to this commitment for the Irish?
An athletic tight end. And I say athletic as in he could do a lot. Run seams, 10-yard outs, drag routes, you name it. Corner route right here is just outstanding. Look at that catch. His skill level, his route running and his hands are already major Notre Dame level. When you talk, obviously, great tight ends Notre Dame has had. He's there. He's there as a route runner. He could be a big receiver. When I see him, I just think outstanding H-back, a wing type of a guy who's going to catch a lot of passes over his time at Notre Dame. But his speed, he's good. And I've watched, I've been breaking down, when we start doing these and start watching Notre Dame guys, compare them to guys ranked around him, ahead of him and all that. Once again, you're getting an elite pass receiver that's, when you're looking at the top, dozen tight ends in the country, especially for 2024, he is, look at this route right here, outstanding seam. The one thing I really like about him is his ability to just cut, and he uses leverage, uses his body to create separation, which is, elite level already. And, he's good. I know he doesn't have the massive size. We could talk about that. He's not 6'5", 6'6", but he's got everything else. If he was 6'5", if he was a 6'5" tight end, he'd probably be in the top 3 in the country, I believe.
Tim, we were talking a little bit about this before we started recording, that I'm kind of irked. I've been talking to analysts and whatnot, and people keep talking, he is only 6'3", he's not that big. Like, you can be a receiving tight end. If you're talking about a 6'3" wide receiver, that is really impressive,
Yes.
right?
Oh,
I mean, look, you split him out wide. A few plays ago, they had that nice back shoulder. I mean, look at him on this comeback route here with the defender all over him. There's the adage of a tight end being too quick for a linebacker to cover, or too big for a defensive back. I mean, that's what Jack Larsen is like. We can have receiving tight ends at Notre Dame. That is allowed. I mean, not everyone's going to be 6'5" Michael Mayer. Here's him blocking here. Hey, that's something he's going to improve. He's going to put on weight. I'm not worried about those things. You are allowed to have a receiving tight end in Jack Larsen. Look at him. A tight end screen called for him. I mean, he is a darn good receiver.
no, I agree. And the play you just mentioned, just going back 3 or 4 plays where the deep out and he doesn't catch with his body. His hands are out grabbing it. That's good football right there. And he really has that. And I think, once again, you get the knock, especially in ratings, going back to offensive tackles, everyone looks at size and things of that nature. And when we've talked 2024 guys, you and I, this is sophomore film. So he still has a couple years to develop. And that's what I'm saying. His receiving skills, if he was a 6'3", 210-pound wide receiver, he'd be top 10 in the country. Just by his receiving skills, he's outstanding. And you put that at tight end, yeah, he's not Kyle Rudolph. He's not 6'7" out there and whatnot. But what he brings to Notre Dame, and Notre Dame is legendary, has outstanding wide receiver, tight end type bodies. And he really fits into that. Just go and watch his highlights, the way he jumps at some of those out routes, using his tippy toes to catch that one. You don't see that with 15-year-old tight ends in the country, and he's doing this as a very, very skilled wide receiver. But and real quick, you talked about his size. Go back, as Irish Invasion, for all the blue and gold folks out there, watch some of the film that's out there with blue and gold and whatnot, and his legs have really gotten thick. This kid's going to be a 235-pound, receiving tight end at Notre Dame here in the next couple of years.
Yeah. Someone talking about a rising juniors. Oh, he needs to get bigger. Yeah, no crap. I mean, he's not. like what you see on sophomore film is not what they're going to show up as freshmen. Like we need to use some logic here when we're evaluating prospects. Jack Larsen is not a 3-star in my opinion. I mean, this dude is a bona fide stud. Alabama,
Real quick.
Clemson, Ohio State, Michigan, I mean Texas A&M, Notre Dame, all these big time schools offering him.
Well, yeah. Well, you could talk about his recruiting as well, Mike. I mean, he's a pot of gold offer kid, and they got Cooper Flanagan so early. I know in your reporting way back when, McNulty. This was like the first tight end McNulty went after as soon as they locked up Flanagan. So Notre Dame's been on him for a year. This ain't just some flash in the pan. They just saw him at a camp. So he
Right.
has been high on their list, I'm sure, as you know.
Yeah, they had him camp last July at the end of the month. So before Flanagan even committed, they were looking at him being Larson. So yeah, certainly an interesting commitment here for the Irish, beating out Michigan even again. I mean, it's just like all these. I mean, I think Notre Dame's got a good shot to beat Michigan again for a prospect who had a Michigan prediction logged for him at one point. Definitely rolling here for the Fighting Irish. Tim, when we just look at tight end recruiting as a whole, because it's been um, what, close to a year since Notre Dame's landed a tight end commitment with Cooper Flanagan pledging to the Irish last September. What are just your thoughts overall about Notre Dame tight end recruiting, where things stand, and maybe where Jack Larsen fits into the room?
Yeah, well, you look at 2024. So let's just pigeonhole 2024, 25. You know, they're going to have four outstanding guys. You got Eli Raridan, who's going to be outstanding. I kind of, he's that tall, lengthy, that Kyle Rudolph, type of guy. And then obviously got Holden Stays. Hate to compare him to another Georgia guy, but they look one and the same. That's him and Tommy Tremble. I mean, they look like twins. And the physicality that Holden plays with, once again, he was a big time defensive end as well playing high school. And then you go Flanagan, who's out of De La Salle, one of the top premier high schools in America. And the first guy I always think about whenever I see Flanagan is Troy Nicholas, your true inline blocking tight end, inside route runner, in between the hashes. I think Flanagan is going to be outstanding. And then when you go Larson, the first guy I thought about was old Brady Quinn's target, John Carlson, way back when, just thinking seam routes. But he's the receiving threat that Cole Kmet was. And I think when you merge all these guys, they're all the same body types, the same physical characteristics of some of these past NFL guys that Notre Dame has had. So I'm sure they're going to probably go after a second one as they get ready for 24. And if they could do that, merge five guys moving forward, is going to be another outstanding tight end room. And that's what we expect from Notre Dame. We haven't talked tight end in a while, and there's four guys with Larson, Flanagan, Stays, and Raridan. What program in America has four guys like that heading into 2024?
You mentioned Eli Raridan. He's coming in as number 9. And who'd you just compare him to? Kyle Rudolph? So
Rudolph with the size and obviously the basketball skills. And Raridan, once he gets healthy and once he gets rolling, he's going to be that jump ball guy down in the red zone. He fits perfect
Tim,
into
did you
that
mention
Rudolph.
Kane Barong right there? I was looking at something else, but did you mention Barong?
No, I didn't mention. I didn't mention Barong.
So
I
I
didn't mention some of these guys just because they're a class
I saw
older.
Barong at Irish Invasion. I mean, I hadn't seen him in person in probably a year and a half, 2 years since he was a recruit. Barong looks about 6'4", 250 pounds. Like he is massive. So he might be one of the least talked about players on this football team. That is the most intriguing to me. Coming off the ACL injury, I think Kane Braun's new nickname for me is Big Swole. I mean, the dude, yeah, I think Notre Dame fans are going to be pretty impressed by him if he gets a
And
shot.
another guy that came in light and has developed in time. And that's what, obviously Notre Dame fans, when they look at these, 24, 25 guys, as we're talking more and more a couple years down the road, that's what they're going to develop. They're going to keep developing, get into Coach Bayless's system. Boom, sky's the limit for these guys.
Big commitment again here. Jack Larsen, Charlotte Catholic, class of 2024, 4-star tight end, picking the Fighting Irish. Good stuff there from Tim Hyde breaking down the news. Make sure you go to blueandgold.com for more coverage of Larsen's commitment. Appreciate you guys. Hit the thumbs up, and we'll catch you next time.